Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join us for the Championship preview and predictions show for round 36. Always a marker, number 36, because once we're done, we've got 10 games to go. Annoyingly, it would be nice if the international break was here with 10 to go, but another 3-game week. So by the time we finally get to the international break, it will actually be 8 games to go, won't it? But we'll be doing a lot of analysis. 10 games to go. Point is coming at the end of this weekend. I would love for you to stay with me for the next, what do we normally do, about 45 minutes on the previews, and give me your predictions for each and every one of these Championship games. If you see me looking over there, we are waiting for confirmation of Chris Wilder leaving Sheffield United, which something's got to happen before half-1 because he's due at a press conference, I have to say. But as soon as that happens, I will have to press one button to make a video go live. But otherwise, we are fully focused in. In fact, I'm sure the chat will let me know the second that something comes out of Sheffield United on those developments there. Sky are now leading with Chris Wilder expected to leave Sheffield United rather than Chris Wilder leaves Sheffield United. So still waiting for final confirmation on that. Anyway, there are our games down the bottom. We got 11 because of the Rotherham COVID postponement. We'll go through each and every one. As always, we'll go from top to bottom. But let me know that you can see me, hear me loudly, clearly. Let's do our plugs. And we need to say thank you to the Donovan brothers in loving memory of Michael of South East London, lifelong Millwall fan, admirer of this show. Thank you so much to the Donovan brothers. They sponsor this show right the way through the season. Bless them. What a lovely tribute to their departed brother, Michael. Let's just give a couple more plugs down the bottom there. You can get involved via Super Chat any point during the broadcast. First Super Chat becomes the king of the bin. You can support the channel over on Patreon. Exclusive shows there, the Thursday Q&A, quick predictions, classics reviewed, all Patreon exclusive. More on the way. And for the princely sum of absolutely nothing, wherever you see a thumbs up, hit it. Absolutely free, that much. Hit subscribe, ring the bell, but most importantly, predictions in the comments. There is our running order. Let's say hi in the comments. So let's say big thank you to Anthony, who's super chatted. That's tremendous. $4.99 on behalf of Barnsley for the disappointing match. Anthony, that's very, very kind. As I always say when people are complaining about the quality of the matches on the watch-alongs, we have no control over this. But that's a very, very kind gesture. I am here, Sophie. We have recorded the Chris Wilder video. It's just a matter of hitting go as and when things are confirmed. But hey, this is following the news cycle. Carl is here. Leeds 2021. Graham, Liam, George. Anyone on Chris Wilder? I've done a video. If it's a relevant video, it will go up as soon as bits and bobs. Tyler, comment of the day. I like the numbers on the order. It's a nice touch. Thank you. I put it in there. Sky have just flashed up breaking news. Has it happened? Has it happened? Let me just look for 5 seconds quickly over here. They're not putting anything on the screen and I've got the sound off, so it may have just happened. Press conference at Blaze pushed back to 5 p.m. Is that the breaking news? God, get on with it, guys. Deary me. Lovely stuff. Hi to Zach. Oh, we've got a couple of Bournemouth in. Excellent. Has he done Norwich yet? First. Busy today indeed. Watcher Iain, Neil, Wolf. Derby to send the other 50%. Absolutely. Who did win manager? I thought it was Mick, wasn't it? Yeah. Hi to Titch, Josh G, and Richard. Was the breaking news the press conference being moved to 5 p.m. then? So breaking news, there is no breaking news, basically. Right, anyway, let's get into this. I need to focus. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn Sky Sports News off. I've just done it. If and when this story breaks, let me know. Okay. And what I need to see is a tweet from Sheffield United with a picture of a corner flag in it, or the stadium, however they do it, and that news being finally confirmed. Right. Let's move into this round of fixtures then. Round number 36. We have for you, where you can see them in order along the bottom, but I'll read them out anyway. Blackburn-Brentford tonight. Join me for the watch-along from 7:30. It will be better than Barnsley v Derby. Promise. The first half, particularly of that game. Luton-Swans. We'll catch the second half of that slightly earlier on the Super Stream. They're kicking off at 12:15, not 12:30. So join me for that as well. And then on Saturday in the Super Stream, we will be talking about Birmingham, Bristol City, Bournemouth, Barnsley, easy for me to say, Cardiff, Watford, Derby, Millwall, Borough, Stoke, Forest, Reading, Rangers, Huddersfield. Rotherham Cov is postponed. The third Rotherham game with this 10-day or 2-week, whatever it is, quarantine. Must be 10 days, mustn't it? Wickham, Preston is our last Saturday game. And then I suspect we'll be here on Sunday for a watch-along of Wednesday, Norwich. And that's the first one we got to talk about. So get your predictions in for, if we look at the league table, probably a quite straightforward prediction if the league table is your single factor analysis on such things. Norwich traipsing away at the top of the league, 76 points, brilliant. And now Barnsley have drawn, as they did in midweek. Norwich are out in front with the win streak of 7 games. Can they go 8, 9, or maybe even 10 to equal Aston Villa's from 2018-19? Norwich themselves did an 8-game streak in 18-19, and Cardiff did one in 17-18. So sort of the high watermark is 8. If they can go past that to 9, incredible, but 10 to match Villa's would be sensational from Norwich. Who's to stop them at the moment? If you see Buendia going out onto that pitch, there's a chance the win streak will keep going and going and going. Wednesday, Darren Moore in 6-game losing streak. So let me repeat that. We have a team on 7 straight wins against a team on 6 straight defeats. And it won't be hard to see if I go like that, a very green side and a very red side. It's hard not to go down the stating the bleeding obvious narrative. I could play my joker on this one and say every amount of logic says that Norwich win this game, so I'll go the other way. But let's see what you guys are saying. Home, away, or draw in this one. Luke says Farker is going to start himself and Arsene Wenger up front, just to make it a bit more even. There we go. Right. Norwich win, Norwich win, Norwich win, Norwich win. Home win, I don't know why. Yeah, you're allowed to play your joker, guys. You are allowed to play your joker on this one. It seems the most obvious place to play it, doesn't it? There you go. Russ is playing one as well. John Newsom, Derby. John Newsom was a good player, wasn't he, Sophie? But he played for Leeds and Sheffield Wednesday and Norwich. Excellent centre-back, wasn't he? Yeah, look, it's blindingly obvious, this one, where we've got to go with the prediction. I think Gary Hooper Derby. I like that. Gary Hooper. Mac, do you think Norwich will gain as much revenue winning the league than what they would have if they survived in the Premier League last year? No, nowhere near, obviously, because the TV money is just gargantuanly difficult, especially without ticket receipts as well. But hey, and we use the term playing the system, and I use that in a complimentary way, but they've been very sensible this season, Norwich, haven't they? Away, however, this is the Championship. Look, come on, I'm not playing my joker on this one. I'm just not doing it. Away! Let's go for a Norwich away win. But good luck with this next one, guys. Cardiff versus Watford. I'm going to struggle to call this one. We're going to go with the chat on this one, I think. Cardiff versus Watford. So Mick is still unbeaten as Cardiff manager. Watford are brilliant at home and kind of improving away. Both sides are sort of pretty stoic and pretty stable, aren't they? Not that many defeats in recent time for either of them. If the game was at Watford, I would be going towards a Watford win. However, we all know that one of Watford's only 2 home defeats this season came at the hands of Cardiff, of course, didn't it, when Neil Harris was still there? Get your predictions in. Watford versus Cardiff. Tricky. Let's have a look at the tail of the tape. Let's just have a look at Cardiff's home form as well, because they have had 7 defeats this season, but obviously under McCarthy, they're 10 points in the last 4. They have also won their last 2 home games 4-0. Watford improving away from home, aren't they? And what you will see on this page here is a lot of wins for both of these teams across that page. Look at that. The 6 straight wins for Cardiff, and then draw, win, draw. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins in 7 for Watford. So if we take a 7-game sample size, you've got 18 points on one side of the ledger and 17 on the other. So both of these sides over that period have been in really, really good form, haven't they? I assume Watford will have some central midfielders back after the last game as well, won't they? This is a hard one to call. What are you guys saying in the chat on this one? Draw, Watford, Cardiff, draw, Watford, draw, Watford, draw, draw. I could have gone Watford, draw, then, couldn't I? Should have sang it. 1-1, 2-1, Watford, Cardiff to do the double. Home, Cardiff to shade it, draw. Bluebirds to sting Hornets under Mick. Cardiff have lost to the really good teams at home. Seem to be running out of steam at Huddersfield. Yeah, that was a bad game, wasn't it? Draw. I think they cancel each other out. Do not dare accuse me of sitting on the fence because it's a hard one to call. Draw. And we move on. I go for a draw. Cardiff and Watford to draw. Every point's a prisoner, says Mick. He loves it, doesn't he? Luton versus Swansea. Are Swansea tiring? Are Luton the team you don't want to play when you're tiring? Let me know. Luton versus Swansea is our next one up to predict. And as I said, this is on Saturday lunchtime. It is 15 minutes earlier than normal. So join me on the Super Stream. We'll go at 1:15. We'll do the second half of this one. So everybody, join me at about, let me do the maths to do the joke, about 1:45 for the, 2:15 for the Swansea penalty is the joke that I'll make before anyone does in the chat. Luton versus Swansea. By the way, check me out on the Swans cast yesterday. Great Swansea conversation. There, I think we did about 30 minutes. God, when I think I've done 30 minutes, I've normally talked for about an hour, haven't I? So check that out if you want to see really good self-aware perspective from the Swans cast guys. So is your glass half full or half empty with Swans? Because on the one hand, they look like they're tailing off a bit, but look at the points. Got 10 points in the last 5 games with the tail off. So if the form comes back and the points should in theory maintain, then have they weathered a bad run? Or is the tail off going to continue and possibly get worse? When we're talking about a tail off, they just haven't looked quite themselves, and it's been, late goals and, those couple of penalties late on to get those wins over the line. So we're going to find out, aren't we, particularly over this week. And I think the next 2 games, they've got Bournemouth and Cardiff or something crazy like that. So here comes an absolutely key week for Swansea, and going to Luton is not fun, because one thing we know about Luton this season is if you're having a bad day, they will penalise you and they will punish you for not being at your best. Luton in 16th, but 44 points. Excellent work from them this season, 44 from 34 games. The home record has dropped off a little bit. You can see the 2 defeats there of late. I assume that last win was the one against Sheffield Wednesday, that balmy game where they were 2-0 down. Swansea's away form is really good. 10 points from 5 there for the Swans. And, some people on this side say, oh, lucky things are going their way. And then the other people on the other side say, oh, that's the sign of a team that's getting things done. And when they're not playing well, they're still winning games. Shall we see what you guys are saying about Luton versus Swansea? What can we come up with here? Home, says Graham. Whoever scores first wins, says James. Draw. Swansea been looking really poor performance-wise. Yeah, I think that chimes with what I've just been saying. Swans 2-1. Cardiff to be unbeaten going into the derby and then lose. There we go. Swans for yet another bird-based win. Nice. We go Canaries, Bluebirds and Swans, says Wolf. Nice work. Swans, Luton win unless Swans. By the way, remember, Swans have had 5 penalties and Watford and Norwich have both had 9. So we can talk about the type of penalties, but we can't talk about them having the most, for sure. Draw, Swans, Luton. Can't make a prediction. Swans, Luton. Let's just keep booming down here. And yeah, I think Iain might be onto something there. If Swansea are running out a little bit of steam, they'll get slightly more defensive. It will be a tight one. You can see them winning it 1-0 or something, couldn't you? I'm going to go against my better judgment here. Away. I just got a hankering. I've just got a hankering that they're going to be able to pull something out of the fire again. Sue me. I'll happily be wrong. But let's see what happens. Away win. Swansea to win at Luton. And then a hard old couple of games. Bournemouth and Cardiff in consecutive games. Right. Blackburn versus Brentford. Remember, Brentford were due to play. Who were they due to play in midweek? I don't remember. So they are now equal on games played. It'd just be more helpful if I brought the table up, wouldn't it? They're equal on games played with Swansea in this seemingly 3-team race for second place. That rhymes. I like that. A 3-team race for second place. And there are the Bees. But I think it's 4 defeats in 6. So 6 points from 6 is kind of survival form, isn't it? Rather than promotion form. Can they swing back in the right direction, Brentford? Maybe a little rest will do them good. Forgive me, I don't know the status of De Silva, whether he's close. I certainly wouldn't imagine Henry or Janssen would be playing in this one. Blackburn, well, we did the watch along, didn't we? And they went toe to toe with Swansea, didn't they? That was a fairly drawy game, wasn't it? It was neither side were particularly better than the other. So we have very recent evidence of Blackburn playing at home against a team in the top 4 of the table, and they got the point. They're starting without Armstrong and Elliott at the moment. So a little tweak from Tony Mowbray. I think Armstrong's injured anyway. Blackburn's home form, no win in 4 for them. Brentford's away form is very good, but then look at that, 3 straight defeats. Interesting. And also the entire top 5 here, 6, are all playing away from home this round. Let's see what you guys are saying on Blackburn versus Brentford. What do we got here? It's Rotherham they were supposed to play. Of course. Yeah, right. Brentford. Could rest play a factor? Possibly. I think the big rest, the proper rest, will be the international break, won't it? Brentford, draw. Blackburn, draw. Draw. Home, draw. Bees, Bees, draw. Blackburn. Blackburn don't take all their chances. Third game in 7 days. Bees have had a rest away. Yeah, Armstrong is injured, yeah. Henry's still out until last year. Not good. What about Janssen, Speng? Or are they just keeping that under wraps? Away, draw, away, draw. Oh, Janssen close. Okay, thank you. Let's liven things up at the top, because if all my predictions go, it'll be even tighter at the top. Away. Let's go into the rest narrative then. Let's say that we're in this point of the season now where everybody's knackered, and just having 7 days between a game may just be enough, because they're all so tight, and these games and the players are also leggy. So let's go for an away win there. Right, Forest versus Reading in the Tyler Blackett derby. We'll go for Forest versus Reading. Get your predictions in. Reading have won 3 straight games and look very nicely positioned for the playoffs. 60 points from 35, with Barnsley's draw was a desirable result for Reading, because they still have a little bit of a gap there. Obviously, it would have been all square on 60 points, although Reading would have had it on the goals difference. Pushkas has given Reading some new options, hasn't he? They've gone to a sort of front two, taken a bit of the heat off Zhao and a bit of the heat off Swift not being there, literally, as well. Forest have a hard run of games, don't they? I'm just going to bring this up. Have I got that on the split screen? Yeah, I do. So look at this. Reading, then Norwich, then Brentford, then Cardiff, all coming up in a row for Forest, which doesn't sound like too much fun, does it? Especially given they've already lost a couple in a row. In terms of home form, Forest, up until that defeat last time out against Luton, it was a bit of a surprise one, that, wasn't it? But Luton do the job away from home, don't they? It had been 3 unbeaten, 5 points. In terms of away form, Reading, very good. And I think as well, in terms of Reading's away form, we've covered a couple of games where they've missed penalties and drawn nil. Did they even lose to Wickham? I don't remember. Or did they just draw nil? I can't remember. But anyway, Reading could even have even more away points. They do strike me as a side set up well to play away from home. I just worry this may be quite a passive game, that both teams are going to be waiting for the other to make a mistake, and sometimes the mistake never comes and the goal never comes. What are you guys saying on this one? Forest versus Reading. Forest, Reading, Forest. Too close to call. Reading, draw, Forest. Reading, draw, Reading, Forest, draw. Can Reading continue? Well, this is the question. Reading, draw, Forest, and I'll keep Gareth McCleary derby. I'll keep winding through on all of these. It was a loss to Wickham. I thought it was, Chris. I think I'm going to go on my assumption of passive action forcing a draw in this one. I think they're both going to sit back. And we saw Forest against Watford. They got close, didn't they? But Watford had probably just a little bit too much star power for them. In terms of star power, Watford have got slightly more than Reading have. Not to say that Zhao, Elise, etc. are very good players, but I'm just going to go for a draw in that one. And on we go to Bournemouth versus Barnsley in an absolute barnstormer in terms of narrative, because it's 6th versus 7th, for goodness sake. 6th place versus 7th. Bournemouth at home to Barnsley. Now, the first thing we need to say is that I do not expect Bournemouth to in any way deploy the same tactics that Derby used in the wind and the Hunger Games conditions the other night. No disrespect to Derby, obviously utmost respect for Wayne Rooney, but they decided that the game was going to get stretched because they didn't want to get pressed, and decided to get the ball away from their goal as quickly as they could, basically. And Bournemouth won't do that, which actually plays into Barnsley's favour, doesn't it? So what we will get is something more akin to the Brentford versus Barnsley game, where Brentford tried to play football all match and Barnsley pressed them all match. And those games can go either way, can't they? And in that instance, Barnsley got 2 well-timed goals, didn't they? And Brentford couldn't play through the press and create enough. Will it be different at Bournemouth? Who knows? That's literally what we're asking right now. Get your predictions in. Bournemouth's home form, that's good actually, isn't it? 9 points in the last 4 games at home. Barnsley are obviously in the midst or have just come off a winning streak, but the winning streak ended at home. So they've got 3 straight wins in the last few games. So to frame this a different way, are Barnsley for real is the question now. Can they absorb that draw and go toe-to-toe with a team that will play football against them and go and register another win? Or will the sort of Bournemouth star power see them through against Barnsley in this one? Tricky one to call. I'm going to go to the chat first of all. 5 bellies, thank you. You deserve so much more. I'm perfectly happy with what I get, my friend. We'll drink to that. Thank you very much. 5 bellies. Jimmy 5 bellies. Remember him. Where can we go with this one? There we go. Bournemouth, Barnsley. What an attractive game this will be to watch. 2-2 draw. Should be fun, shouldn't it? Draw. Anthony's not confident. Bournemouth will hammer us, he says. There is that scenario. I mean, look at glass half full. Barnsley continue going for the end of the season, or they're overachieving and we get a tail off. No, Mick is deserving, but can't believe Ishmael didn't win Manager of the Month for a record-breaking winning streak. Just depends how many of the games were in the month. I think Mick had a streak as well going for that month. So did Farker for that matter, didn't he? So it's Manager of the Month, isn't it? It's a little trinket, go in your mantelpiece. 2-1, but so Bournemouth, Barnsley. You got a glimpse of what the last few games have been like for Barnsley, but not sure if Bournemouth play like that. I agree with you, James. We'll take a draw, see Bournemouth edging it. Home win, Bournemouth. Barnsley, Bournemouth. Barnsley still not lost to a non-top 6 side since November. Bournemouth are now not in the top 6. Good point, well made. Barnsley draw, Bournemouth, Barnsley. Barnsley, there we go. Let's keep scrolling down here. There we go. Right. Oh, God. So I've got to call this one. I'm going to go with some of the ideas in the chat that that Barnsley may run out of steam this weekend. If they don't, they really are the real deal, aren't they? Home win. Let's see if Barnsley prove me wrong. I just wonder whether, and again, going into what someone was saying, Chris, earlier in the chat, we now do get situations where some teams have played 3 games in the week and some have only played 2. And you just wonder what that took out of Barnsley in the midweek as well. Let's move on to Borough versus Stoke. Get your thoughts in. Borough versus Stoke. In really what is the battle of the 2 teams that have looked for a lot of the season like they could get into the playoffs and never quite managed to be consistent enough to do so. And you can see exactly that borne out in the table. Borough 9th on 50, 7 points in 5. Stoke 10th on 48, 6 points from 5. So this is the point where with your playoff charge, and you look at Barnsley, who have got 13 points in 5, and the likes of Cardiff, who've got 11, and Norwich have got the full 15 up at the top there, and Watford have got 12. That is the type of charge you need, and they just haven't managed to do that, have they? Let's look at the homes and aways, and I think it's Borough's home form that's actually let them down with those 3 defeats coming in those past 5 games. Obviously, they were a little bit unlucky at Swansea, weren't they, to lose in the manner they did. Stoke's away form is rubbish. Look at that. 2 points in the last 5 and 3 straight home defeats. Did they ever recover from Tyrese Campbell getting injured? We could call this the John Obi Mikel derby, couldn't we? Let's have a look at your comments. There we go. Right. Borough. Stoke, draw. Borough, 0-0. Borough. Sorry, I lost my place. Isaiah, you do not need to put your comment in 500 times, but there you go. I've read it. Warnock to get his dressing room revenge. Nice. Unhelpful draw. You're speaking my language there, Chris. Borough, draw. Borough. Warnock. Beers in 4 hours. Actually, I might have one tonight. It'd be nice. Let's keep on plugging through. Draw. Lots of draws in this one. Stoke. Do you know, I think I'm going to go Warnock on this one. I think he gets his payback against referee Ward last week. Home. Borough to beat Stoke. I am going for. Wouldn't Neil Warnock? Imagine Neil Warnock had Nick Powell. He'd love him, wouldn't he? A player that good arriving in the box in the air. Derby versus Millwall in the Scott Malone derby. Very obvious. Or the Mason Bennett derby, although they could call it the Gary Rowett derby. Literally the manager who's taken both of those players from one to the other. Derby versus Millwall. Get your predictions in for this one. So Millwall, 2 defeats in 3 now after a nice, steady old run. And it doesn't look like they're going to break the draw record now, does it? What was it? What do they need? 24 or something. So that'd be 8 draws in the last 11. Unlikely, but hey, stranger things have happened and Rowett loves a draw. So 2 defeats in the last 3 for Mill. For Derby, well, they played the way they played and took a point from the Barnsley game. Just dropped off a little bit, haven't they? And they're 7 points above Rotherham. We'll talk about Rotherham at the end and how many games they're potentially going to now have to play in what sort of length of time. So the odds do look against Rotherham unless they go on a right tear and have a 4-game week and score 10 points in a week or something crazy like that. Could happen, couldn't it? Momentum being what it is. Let's look at the homes and aways for this one. Derby are our home team. Look at that. Excellent. 4 straight wins and then a draw in the last game, which was against Forest in the Brian Clough derby. Mill's away form's good as well, isn't it? Interesting. Very, very interesting matchup, this one. Rooney and Rowett both know how to defend. I remember saying those exact words predicting a draw before Rooney and Houghton, if I'm not misremembering myself there. Let's see what you guys are saying. Thank you, Anthony, for joining us. And thank you for your super chat. Very, very kind. What do we got here? 0-0, Derby, Millwall. Mason Bennett we got in there. George Evans, there you go. There's plenty on this one, isn't there? Millwall, Paul Goddard. You've thrown an Ipswich player in there just to get me juices going, haven't you, Alex? Millwall, Derby, Millwall, draw, Derby. Malone will be a big miss. Shane Ferguson is more than capable. And my hero. There we go. Draw, home, Mill, draw. Malone can't play. Can it still be his Derby? I guess so. Let's keep swinging right the way down here. Boom, boom, boom. I think I've got them all. Martin Waghorn Derby as well. Yeah, throwing some more Ipswich players. I saw one of the best S houses ever in a Derby Millwall match when Jed Wallace scored about 10 minutes from the end, sat in and nicked a goal. That was tremendous stuff, that, wasn't it? Sorry, guys, draw. It's just got draw written all over it for my money. Rowett and Rooney with where they are in the league. Take a point, move on. QPR versus Huddersfield, the Narky Wells derby. Although Narky Wells derby could describe a fair few championship games. Get your predictions in for this one. Rangers versus Huddersfield. Huddersfield should have won, shouldn't they, in our watch-along game against Cardiff and Mick McCarthy. Sonogo missing the penalty that could have just edged them. Well, when I say edge, would have got them to the 40-point mark. Remember, the 10-year average says 45 to survive in the championship. Rangers are in great form, aren't they? Back-to-back wins now. And yes, you can see that little splurge of draw, loss. But remember, before that, it was 6 wins in 8 as well. So if you add 8 wins in 11, am I right? No, I'm not. 8 wins, 6 wins in 8. It would be 8. 5 on. Sorry, 8 wins in 13. There we go. There's live evidence. I can't do maths on the hoof. Let's have a look at the homes and aways. Rangers are our home team, where they're very good. Look, I know they lost to Barnsley, didn't they? 4 wins in 5, though. Tremendous. Huddersfield's away form is rubbish. Look, second worst in the division, only 10 points. 1 point in the last 5 games for Huddersfield away from home. We essentially have an in-form team against an out-of-form team. What are we saying in this one? Let's go from there. Have we got it? I think we have. Rangers. Alex Smithies derby, very true. Rangers. A 3-3 draw. Nice draw. Running orders down the bottom there, Steve. Spool back if you need to. Rangers draw. Let's keep moving this on. 5-3. Nice. Huddersfield not won away since October 31st. Rangers. Loads of it. I think I'm going to have to go with the chat and go with the logic. I haven't played my joker at all today. Home win for Rangers in this one. Let's move on to Birmingham City versus Bristol City. Good luck calling this one. Birmingham City versus Bristol City. And thank you to our friend Lee, who drew my attention to this morning. Birmingham's next 4 games, not in this order, they play 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th in their next 4 games. They play Watford, Brentford, Reading and Swansea in the next 4 games. So Birmingham could do with a nice little 3-pointer in this one, couldn't they? Will they get it? Nigel Pearson has now lost 2 straight games for Bristol City. And they were both at home, weren't they, to... who was it? It was Bournemouth, and who did they lose to at the weekend? QPR, wasn't it? Birmingham. Well, that splurge you can see in those 4 games, 7 points, might be the difference by the end of the season. If you look in the same time, Rotherham had 4 defeats, didn't they? And that might have been enough to swing it. Obviously, the massive elephant in the room is the Rotherham games in hand. And there is literally 3 of them now, isn't there? So you're now looking at and saying, can Rotherham win 1 of the games in hand? They've won 9 in 32. So they're not far off winning 1 in 3, are they? We'll see how they come back from the COVID-enforced break. Anyway, I'm supposed to be talking about Birmingham and Bristol City. And there is the horrendous, as we always bring it up, Birmingham home record. But they did get themselves a win last time out against QPR in their last home game. Bristol City have got 2 straight away wins. Remember, they won at Swansea and Borough. So odd quirks in these patterns. I'm struggling with this one. I struggle with all of them, don't I? Let's have a look and see what you lot are saying in the chat. Birmingham versus Bristol City. Did Mick Harford play for both of them? What a player, Mick. Jeffrey, we did a lovely interview with Russell Osman, and he was asked who his hardest opponent was, and Mick Harford's name did come up. I know he didn't. He managed Bristol. Yeah, he managed Bristol City, didn't he? So, draw. Blues, draw. Robins. Bristol City. Jack, your prediction can't get bigger as we go through. You'll have them winning 8-1 in 5 minutes, won't you? Let's keep trucking through these. There we go. We'll keep it moving. It won't be a draw. We don't draw games. Yeah. Oh, God, I can't call this one. I'm going to pull this and play my joker here. I know Birmingham aren't very good at home. So this is my joker for today then. Home. Don't know why. And I do worry about that being a scenario because we could get this weird end of the season where there could be a gap and then Rotherham have to play 4 games in a week. It could be a very strange scenario. But I've gone for a home win. Birmingham to beat Bristol City. Last one, because obviously Rotherham and Coventry is postponed, is Wycombe versus Preston in the Darrell Horgan derby, if you will. Got his Christian name right? I think I have. I'm going to double check that right now. Yes, I have. Definitely played for both, didn't he? Anyway, Wycombe versus Preston. Wycombe, as the table shows us, have struggled this season and down at the bottom, and they are 12 points off safety. So if things stay the same, they'll be relegated in 4 games to go. They've got 11 to play. They're going to be relegated in 7 games' time. Wycombe, unless they can pull some miraculous load of results out of the fire. Unlikely. Always raise it, though. Always caveat everything, guys. Preston, I normally just say, are erratic and hard to call. And even looking at the recent sample, lost, drawn, won, lost, drawn. Oh, we've got a pattern there. What next? Let's look at the homes and aways. Wycombe's home form. Well, they did get a win recently, didn't they? That game we mentioned earlier about against Reading. Only 3 wins at home this season. Only 10 goals at home as well. Still another 3 defeats in the last 4. Preston, well, they may still be riding that. They must have won like 5 out of the first 6 away games or something, didn't they? But still, they have accumulated the 6th most points away from home in the division. What are you guys saying in this one? Wycombe and Preston. Preston, Wycombe, Preston, Wycombe. Home. Oh, it's a Wycombe, Preston, Wycombe, Preston. In the main, I think that was Preston, wasn't it? So I will blindly go with the chat and go away. Away win. We will go for Wycombe and Preston. Let's just, out of sheer politeness, just analyse where Coventry and Rotherham are in the table in respects of their postponed game. And there you see the both of them, if I bring the correct screen up. So, Coventry, if we're going with 45 to survive, maybe it'll be higher. Who knows? That's a 10-year average, though. Are well on their way, aren't they? 38 points from 35. The only thing really now that would pull Coventry in it is a late run from Rotherham, who do have 14 games to go. So this game would have been absolutely vital, wouldn't it? It may still be absolutely vital, but a real big 6-pointer. And if you're Rotherham and you win this game, you pull Cov to within 3 points, and then you've got 3 games in hand to win another one of them. So I don't know when this game's going to be rescheduled for, but just hold your fire on this game, and we will see how things pan out between now and, well, when Rotherham get back into action. And someone, and we know what clubs are like here, they make it very hard for teams that have got lots of games in hand. Someone's going to have to agree to play someone at a time that is not very desirable for someone. And we'll see how that pans out. I offer no opinion on that. I'm just saying it's what's going to have to happen at some point. John says, we are playing 4 in a week by the look of it. Yeah, it's going to have to be that way, John. It's going to have to be 4 with 2-day gaps, isn't it? So Friday, Monday, Thursday, Sunday or something is what they're going to have to do. So, and Chris, if it is in the last week, that will be a spectacular end of the season. What do I think of? I assume that means Karanka karaoke asking for points. Look, you know what managers are like at the end. They just throw it into the ether just to stir the pot a little bit. Could FIFA simulate the games? And we all sat down to watch them as well. That'd be interesting. Quick one to the chat. Has Chris Wilder gone yet? And obviously the 1:30 press conference has this been confirmed yet? I have a video made and ready to go. Right. Anyway, thank you everybody for joining me today. Please hit the thumbs up button before you go. Let's say a big thank you to the Donovans, who sponsored the show in love and memory of Michael, a South East London lifelong Millwall fan and admirer of this show. Thank you guys for that. As ever, thank you for the super chatters, Anthony and Five Bellies. Thank you. Brilliant stuff. I've spent 20 quid on iFollow streams this week for watch along. So I have incurred more expenses than normal. So your super chats are so gratefully received, as is your Patreon subscriptions. Get in there. Thursday Q&A, quick predictions, classics reviewed, more Patreon only shows on the way. And we'll get it nice and simple for next season, where this is what you get on YouTube. This is what you get on Patreon. I'm figuring it out as I go. Make sure you thumbs up and subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. Join me as ever. That is the schedule for the Saturday super stream there. In fact, it's incorrect because it'll be a 1:15 start rather than a 1:30 start. But you get the idea. I can't be bothered to change it. Now, that was the championship preview and predictions. Let's give some shout outs. Great stream. We do the second half in the super stream, Five Belly. So cheers, Leeds 2021. My uncle's mate's nan, who knows the groundsman. I don't know. You're right. There's to Palace. Yeah, we're already starting our merry-go-rounds. I've got him going to Newcastle if they get relegated, maybe. Cheers, Cherry's Red Army. Lampard to Blades. There we go. See you all next time. Ipswich prediction. Do you know what? I'm doing the Blue Monday podcast this week, bits, so you can hear my analysis of the action going on at Portman Road. Right. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to stick Sky Sports News back on and follow the Chris Wilder business. And it's a big over and out from me. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.